Ladies and gentlemen, today we delve into a topic that is often misunderstood, often misconstrued, and yet profoundly important when it comes to human relationships. The notion of how to draw someone to you, how to make another person chase you, rests not on tricks or manipulations, but on fundamental truths about human psychology, self-respect, and individual growth. The first, and perhaps the most vital secret, is understanding yourself. You cannot expect someone else to chase you if you are not even clear about who you are and what you stand for. If you don't know your own worth, your strengths, your flaws, and your ambitions, how can you expect anyone else to recognize it? You must be, first and foremost, a complete individual, whole and grounded in yourself. The better you understand your own value, the more naturally it will draw others toward you. Understanding yourself is the cornerstone of any meaningful interaction, especially when it comes to relationships. This is not simply a matter of knowing what you like for dinner or what your favorite movie is. To truly understand yourself is to dig deeper into the very core of your being, the essence of who you are. Most people are caught up in the external. They focus on appearances, the way they are perceived, or the roles they think they need to play in society. But understanding yourself goes beyond these superficial markers. It requires an honest exploration of your beliefs, your emotions, your values, and, importantly, your purpose in life. This concept is not one that comes easily to many. We are social creatures, constantly influenced by the opinions and expectations of those around us. From the moment we are born, we are shaped by external forces, our families, our schools, our culture, and even the media. The pressure to conform, to fit into certain molds, can be overwhelming. Yet, if we are to be genuinely fulfilled in life and attract meaningful relationships, we must break free from these external pressures and turn inward to discover who we truly are. Understanding yourself requires a certain level of introspection and self-awareness. It requires the ability to step back from the noise of daily life and honestly assess your own thoughts and behaviors. Why do you make the choices you do? What motivates you? What are your greatest strengths? And what are your deepest insecurities? Answering these questions is the first step in gaining clarity about who you are. At the heart of this self-understanding lies the concept of personal responsibility. When you understand who you are able to take responsibility for your actions and decisions. This is the difference between being reactive and proactive in life. A reactive person allows external circumstances to dictate their mood, behavior, and reactions. A proactive person, on the other hand, has the self-awareness to recognize when they are being triggered and the wisdom to choose a more thoughtful and intentional response. This process of self-discovery also involves acknowledging your own limitations and imperfections. Too often, people shy away from confronting their weaknesses, thinking that vulnerability or imperfection will make them less appealing or less worthy of love and respect. However, the opposite is true. When you understand yourself, you come to accept the parts of you that are flawed, and in doing so, you become more whole. We all have strengths and weaknesses, and when you are aware of both, you are able to navigate life with a more balanced perspective. This is a sign of emotional maturity, being able to acknowledge your flaws without allowing them to define you or limit your potential. When you can embrace your imperfections, you become more comfortable in your own skin, and this self-assurance is magnetic. Furthermore, understanding yourself involves having a clear sense of your values and beliefs. What do you stand for? What are your non-negotiables? It is crucial to have a firm understanding of your core beliefs, because without them, you are more likely to be swayed by external pressures or allow others to dictate your choices. Knowing what you stand for gives you a sense of purpose, and a person with purpose is a person who attracts others. Having a strong sense of self also means understanding what you need from others. This is where boundaries come into play. When you know who you are and what you stand for, you can establish healthy boundaries that protect your emotional and mental well-being. Boundaries are not just about saying no to others, they are about saying yes to yourself. They allow you to preserve your energy, time, and emotional resources, ensuring that you are not giving more than you can handle. When you have clear boundaries, you demonstrate that you value yourself, and this self-respect naturally draws people to you who respect your boundaries in return. Another essential part of understanding yourself is recognizing your needs and desires. In relationships, many people fall into the trap of neglecting their own needs, focusing solely on the other person, and in doing so, they lose sight of who they are. Self-understanding involves recognizing your own needs, desires, and aspirations, and it means taking the necessary steps to fulfill them. Whether it's a need for emotional intimacy, adventure, or personal growth, understanding what you need is vital for maintaining balance and fostering healthy connections with others. Self-awareness also provides you with the clarity to recognize your emotional triggers. We all have them, those things that set us off, that evoke strong reactions or cause us to behave in ways we later regret. When you understand your emotional triggers, you are better equipped to manage your reactions. This self-control is not about suppressing your feelings, it's about responding in a way that aligns with your values and allows you to maintain your integrity. Emotional intelligence, the ability to understand and manage your emotions, is a key component of self-awareness, and it plays a significant role in how you relate to others. The true understanding of yourself requires the courage to confront the parts of you that are uncomfortable or difficult to accept. It may mean revisiting past experiences, traumas, or regrets, and it may involve facing aspects of your personality that you have tried to avoid or suppress. But this process is not about judgment, it's about acceptance. Acceptance does not mean complacency, it means acknowledging where you are right now and committing to grow from that point forward. This kind of self-awareness also enables you to live authentically. When you understand who you are, you no longer feel the need to pretend to be someone you're not to gain the approval of others. Authenticity comes from within. It is the ability to live according to your values, not based on the expectations of society or others. It means you can stand in your truth without fear of rejection, because you know that you are enough as you are. And when you live authentically, you draw those who appreciate your true self rather than those who are drawn to a version of you that doesn't exist. Understanding yourself is a continual journey, not a destination. It requires time, reflection, and a willingness to grow. And as you understand yourself more deeply, you create the foundation upon which all meaningful relationships are built, relationships that are grounded in mutual respect, honesty, and shared values. Boundaries are often misunderstood. Many people think of boundaries as a way to push others away, to isolate themselves, or limit connection. In reality, boundaries are a tool for self-preservation, respect, and emotional well-being. They define where you end and where others begin. Boundaries are the invisible lines that protect you from being consumed by the demands of the world and the expectations of others. They are essential to maintaining your sense of self and nurturing healthy, fulfilling relationships. At their core, boundaries are about self-respect. If you do not have boundaries, you are essentially saying that you do not value your own needs, emotions, or personal space. Boundaries allow you to honor yourself and your own needs first. The practice of setting healthy boundaries is a declaration that you recognize your worth and that you are willing to protect your time, your emotions, and your mental health. Without boundaries, you risk becoming drained, overwhelmed, and resentful because you allow the needs and desires of others to take precedence over your own. Boundaries are also deeply tied to emotional well-being. Many people struggle with emotional burnout because they have difficulty saying no or setting limits. They feel obligated to always be available for others or to constantly give of themselves, leaving little to no room for their own emotional recovery. This leads to feelings of frustration, bitterness, and exhaustion. Boundaries are essential to maintaining a healthy emotional state. When you have clear boundaries, you protect your emotional energy. You prevent yourself from becoming emotionally drained by external pressures and can instead focus on nurturing your own emotional needs. However, setting boundaries is not a simple or easy task. For many people, the act of saying no feels uncomfortable, even selfish. There is often a deep-seated fear of disappointing others or being judged as unkind or unaccommodating. But this is where it's important to recognize that boundaries are not about being rigid or harsh, nor are they about shutting people out. They are about creating space for yourself so that you can show up as the best version of yourself when it matters most. Saying no to something or someone is not a rejection of the other person, but rather a protection of your own integrity. It is the recognition that in order to show up fully for others, you must first show up for yourself. Boundaries also allow you to maintain autonomy and personal agency. In relationships, especially romantic ones, there is a temptation to lose oneself in the other person. This often happens when there is an imbalance in the relationship, with one partner consistently sacrificing their needs and desires to meet the other person's. This kind of codependency can be emotionally toxic and leave one person feeling diminished, neglected, or even invisible. Healthy boundaries prevent this. They enable you to be your own person with your own goals, needs, and aspirations, even while being in a relationship. You are not meant to be absorbed by another person. You are meant to grow together, each maintaining your individuality while supporting one another. An essential aspect of boundaries is clarity. When your boundaries are vague or undefined, it becomes difficult for others to know where you stand, and they may unintentionally overstep or take advantage of your lack of limits. Clarity in your boundaries ensures that both you and others understand the limits and expectations within a relationship. It is not about controlling others, but rather about communicating your needs in a clear and direct way. This is a skill that requires practice because many people fear confrontation or feel guilty about being clear about their needs. But the reality is that when you set clear boundaries, you empower others to respect your needs while simultaneously teaching them how to engage with you in a way that is both respectful and healthy. Another important aspect of boundaries is that they promote respectful relationships. When you allow others to overstep your limits without consequence, you are signaling to them that their needs are more important than your own. Over time, this erodes the foundation of respect in the relationship. On the other hand, when you set boundaries and hold others accountable for respecting them, you reinforce the idea that your needs are just as important as theirs. Boundaries are an expression of respect not only for yourself but for the other person as well. They show that you value the relationship enough to maintain its integrity by ensuring that both people's needs and feelings are respected. Boundaries are also essential for personal growth and self-care. When you have clear boundaries, you are able to preserve the time and energy required for your own personal development. This means setting aside time for activities that nourish your mind, body, and spirit, whether that's pursuing a hobby, focusing on your career, spending time alone, or simply resting. Without boundaries, it's easy to get caught in the whirlwind of others' demands, leaving little room for the growth that you need in order to live a fulfilling life. Boundaries create space for you to care for yourself so that you can be the best version of yourself, both for your own sake and for those around you. It's also important to recognize that boundaries are fluid. As your life circumstances change, your needs and limits may evolve as well. What felt like an appropriate boundary at one point in your life might no longer serve you as you grow. As a result, it's crucial to be flexible with your boundaries and willing to adjust them when necessary. Life is dynamic, and your boundaries should reflect that. Being adaptable with your boundaries is a sign of maturity and emotional intelligence. It shows that you are in touch with your own needs and can navigate change with grace. Ultimately, boundaries are a tool of empowerment. They allow you to take control of your life, your emotions, and your relationships. They give you the space to thrive, to pursue your own goals, and to maintain a sense of personal agency. Without boundaries, you risk losing yourself in the noise of other people's demands and expectations. With boundaries, you create a life that is aligned with your values, your purpose, and your true self. And in relationships, boundaries establish the framework for mutual respect, understanding, and growth. They allow both you and others to experience connection without sacrificing personal integrity or emotional well-being. In the realm of relationships, whether romantic, familial, or professional, the temptation to manipulate others is a powerful and often subconscious force. In a world that rewards surface-level appearances, quick results, and instant gratification, manipulation can seem like the easiest path to getting what you want. But while manipulation may offer short-term gains, it comes at a deep cost. The true path to meaningful connection, influence, and lasting success lies in authenticity. At its core, authenticity is the ability to be true to oneself, to present the real version of who you are without pretension or falsehood. It's about showing up as you are, embracing your strengths, your weaknesses, your quirks, and your vulnerabilities. This might seem like a simple concept, but in practice, it's something that many people struggle with, especially in relationships. It's easy to get caught up in the desire to be liked, to impress others, or to manipulate situations in order to achieve a certain outcome. But the cost of living inauthentically is high, and it leads to an erosion of trust, self-respect, and ultimately genuine connection. The first and most important reason why authenticity is superior to manipulation is because authenticity fosters trust. Trust is the bedrock of any healthy relationship. Whether you're building a friendship, pursuing a romantic partnership, or developing a professional network, trust is essential. When you act with authenticity, you are communicating to others that they can rely on you, that what they see is what they get. There's no hidden agenda, no ulterior motives, no trying to control the other person. This openness creates an environment where others feel safe to be themselves, which is the foundation of meaningful connection. On the other hand, manipulation breeds distrust. It might work in the short term, getting people to do what you want or think a certain way, but over time, people will start to sense that something is off. Manipulation often relies on deceit, half-truths, or playing on someone's emotions in a way that feels inauthentic. Even if you succeed in achieving your goal, the relationship itself is weakened because it's built on a foundation of lies. The other person may not be able to pinpoint exactly what's wrong, but they'll feel it. And that unease will create barriers to true intimacy and connection. Over time, manipulation will erode any trust that may have been established, leaving both parties feeling unfulfilled. Another important distinction between authenticity and manipulation lies in self-respect. When you act authentically, you are living in alignment with your values, your beliefs, and your true self. This means that your actions reflect who you are at your core, and you aren't compromising your integrity in order to gain approval or manipulate others. Authenticity allows you to feel proud of who you are, and this self-respect is what others will naturally be drawn to. People can sense when someone is confident in their own skin and when someone is acting from a place of genuine self-assurance. Manipulation, on the other hand, is often rooted in insecurities. The manipulator might feel as though they aren't enough on their own, so they resort to controlling or influencing others to feel more powerful or in control. Manipulation often comes from a place of fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough, fear of not being liked. But this approach ultimately leads to a cycle of self-doubt and dependency. Manipulators rely on others' reactions to feel validated, but this validation is temporary and unsustainable. Eventually, they are left feeling empty because the relationships they've built aren't based on genuine connection, but on external validation and superficial approval. Furthermore, authenticity is key to personal growth. When you are authentic, you are free to explore your true desires, make mistakes, and evolve into the person you are meant to be. You do not need to conform to external expectations or pretend to be someone you're not in order to fit in or achieve success. This self-awareness allows you to confront your weaknesses, challenge your own assumptions, and develop a deeper understanding of who you are. The path of authenticity is not always easy, and it requires courage to stand firm in your beliefs and values, especially in a world that often pressures individuals to conform. But the rewards are immense. By embracing your true self, you invite others to do the same, creating a space where personal growth can thrive. Manipulation, in contrast, stunts growth. When you manipulate others, you are operating from a place of fear and insecurity, which means you're not growing or evolving. Instead, you are trapped in a cycle of control, constantly seeking approval, and never allowing yourself the space to be truly vulnerable. Vulnerability is a key part of growth, and without it, you remain stuck in patterns of deceit and falsehood. Manipulation prevents you from taking the risks necessary for true personal development because it keeps you locked in a state of control and defensiveness. The more you manipulate, the more you disconnect from your authentic self, and the more you distance yourself from the possibility of meaningful change. Authenticity also brings long-term fulfillment. While manipulation may provide temporary satisfaction but rarely leads to lasting happiness, manipulation is often about getting something now, whether it's attention, approval, or control over a situation. But the temporary high of achieving your desired outcome through manipulation fades quickly. The sense of fulfillment that comes from manipulating others is shallow because it's not rooted in real connection or genuine success. You may have gotten what you wanted, but you haven't gained anything of true value. Authenticity, however, leads to a deeper, more lasting fulfillment. When you live authentically, your sense of worth comes from within, not from others. You are able to take pride in your actions because they reflect your true self. This self-assurance allows you to build relationships based on mutual respect and shared values. It fosters a sense of connection that is sustainable because it is built on a foundation of trust and understanding. The fulfillment that comes from authenticity is profound because it stems from knowing that you are living in alignment with your true self. Finally, authenticity encourages genuine connection. The most meaningful relationships are those that are founded on transparency, honesty, and vulnerability. When you are authentic, you attract people who appreciate you for who you truly are, not for some version of yourself that you've constructed to please others. These relationships are based on mutual respect and understanding, and they allow for deeper emotional intimacy. Manipulation, on the other hand, creates an environment of surface-level connection. People are not drawn to the manipulated version of you, they are drawn to the real you. And when you show up as your true self, you open the door for deeper, more authentic relationships to flourish. In the end, authenticity is the cornerstone of meaningful relationships and personal fulfillment. It allows you to live with integrity, build trust, and create deep, lasting connections with others. Manipulation may offer temporary success, but it will never provide the genuine happiness and fulfillment that comes from living authentically. Confidence is often regarded as a key ingredient for success, attraction, and personal growth. While many people tend to associate confidence with boldness or outward charisma, its true power lies much deeper. Confidence, when nurtured and developed authentically, becomes a natural magnet drawing opportunities, positive relationships, and respect toward you. It's a force that operates not just in how you present yourself externally, but in the internal sense of assurance and self-belief that guides your every action and interaction. At its core, confidence is about being comfortable in your own skin, regardless of external validation or approval. It's the understanding that you are worthy, not because of any achievements or accolades, but simply because you exist. When you cultivate a deep sense of self-assurance, it permeates every aspect of your life. Your body language, tone of voice, decision-making, and even the way you walk and interact with others all become reflections of your inner confidence. This natural magnetism is not something you can fake or force. It is a product of self-acceptance and emotional maturity. One of the most important aspects of confidence is self-awareness. To be truly confident, you must first have a clear understanding of who you are. This involves recognizing your strengths, acknowledging your weaknesses, and accepting both with humility and grace. Self-awareness allows you to navigate life's challenges with a sense of clarity, knowing exactly where you stand and where you want to go. When you are secure in who you are, others pick up on that energy, and it becomes contagious. People are naturally drawn to individuals who know themselves because it creates a sense of trust and security. Confidence also stems from self-acceptance, the ability to love yourself, flaws and all. Far too often, individuals allow external judgments or societal standards to define their worth. They seek validation through the approval of others, whether through appearance, achievements, or social status. But true confidence comes when you embrace all parts of yourself, including the imperfections. Confidence doesn't mean being perfect. It means owning your imperfections and still choosing to step forward with pride. This is the kind of confidence that radiates and attracts others because it is grounded in authenticity, not in trying to meet someone else's expectations. When confidence is present, it creates an energy that is both magnetic and inviting. It acts like a beacon, drawing people in without any need for manipulation or force. Think about the individuals who exude natural confidence, those who walk into a room and instantly command attention without saying a word. They have a presence that others are drawn to, not because they are loud or boastful, but because they exude a quiet, calm assurance that speaks volumes. Their confidence doesn't come from the need to impress or outdo others. It comes from simply being at peace with themselves. This quiet confidence is not about seeking attention, but rather about offering it. People are drawn to this kind of energy because it feels safe, comfortable, and real. Another critical component of confidence as a natural magnet is decisiveness. Confident people make decisions with clarity and certainty. They trust their instincts and are not afraid to take risks or face uncertainty. This decisiveness is a quality that naturally draws others in because it communicates that you have direction, purpose, and leadership qualities. Indecision or wavering, on the other hand, can make others feel uneasy or uncertain about your abilities. When you confidently make decisions, others feel assured and willing to follow your lead, whether it's in a professional setting, a social situation, or in a personal relationship. Confidence is also deeply intertwined with emotional intelligence. When you are confident, you are better able to manage your emotions and respond to others with empathy and understanding. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize and regulate your own emotions while being attuned to the emotions of those around you. Confident individuals are often great listeners because they don't feel threatened by others' opinions or emotions. They understand that their own worth is not contingent upon how others feel about them, so they are able to approach conversations and relationships with an open mind. This emotional maturity makes them more approachable and attractive to others as they create an environment where people feel safe to express themselves. This magnetic confidence also draws opportunities. When you carry yourself with assurance, you open the door to possibilities that others might miss or shy away from. Confident individuals are more likely to take on new challenges, speak up in meetings, ask for promotions, or pursue opportunities that may be intimidating to others. They believe in their abilities and are not afraid of rejection or failure because their confidence is rooted in their belief that they are capable of handling whatever comes their way. This openness to opportunity not only expands their own horizons, but also makes them stand out to others who may want to collaborate, hire, or support them in their endeavors. Attracting opportunities, however, is not just about seeking external validation, it's about building inner resilience. Confidence is often misunderstood as the absence of doubt or fear, but true confidence comes from being able to acknowledge fear and still move forward. It's the understanding that setbacks, challenges, and failures are part of the process of growth. Resilient people can take criticism, weather difficulties, and remain steadfast in the face of adversity. Their inner strength becomes magnetic as people are naturally drawn to those who are grounded, resilient, and able to persevere. One of the most powerful aspects of confident individuals is their ability to inspire others. Confidence is not a zero-sum game. When you are genuinely confident, you are not trying to compete with others or diminish them in order to feel superior. Instead, your confidence becomes a source of inspiration and empowerment for others. You uplift those around you, encouraging them to step into their own power and embrace their true selves. This is where the true magic of confidence lies, in its ability to make others feel seen, valued, and capable. By being yourself and living authentically, you help others do the same, creating a cycle of positive energy and growth. Moreover, confidence leads to better relationships. When you are confident, you can communicate more effectively, express your needs, and set healthy boundaries. You are not afraid to be vulnerable or express your emotions, which encourages open, honest dialogue. Relationships built on mutual respect, understanding, and authenticity are inherently stronger, and confidence fosters these qualities. Confident individuals are more likely to attract people who are equally confident, creating a dynamic where both parties can grow, support, and uplift one another. In the end, confidence is a catalyst for connection. It draws people in, creates opportunities, and fosters personal growth. Confidence is not about arrogance or pride. It's about a quiet, grounded assurance in your own worth and the ability to navigate life with clarity and purpose. It is a natural magnet, attracting both positive energy and meaningful relationships into your life. In a world that often celebrates strength, self-sufficiency, and invulnerability, the concepts of vulnerability and independence might seem contradictory. However, when approached correctly, they can work hand in hand to foster personal growth, emotional depth, and true resilience. Vulnerability is often perceived as a weakness, something to be hidden or avoided. On the other hand, independence is associated with strength and self-reliance. But there is a powerful intersection where vulnerability and independence meet, creating a foundation for emotional clarity, authentic connections, and a life lived on your own terms. To understand the power of vulnerability, it is essential to first define what it truly means. Vulnerability is not about weakness or helplessness. Rather, it is the willingness to show up as your true self without armor, without pretense, and without the facade of perfection. It is about allowing yourself to be seen in your most authentic state, including your fears, uncertainties, and imperfections. Many people fear vulnerability because they associate it with being exposed or judged. Yet, vulnerability is what allows for genuine connection with others. It is through our vulnerability that we reveal the depth of our humanity, and in doing so, we invite others to do the same. It is the bridge that allows for true intimacy, trust, and emotional understanding. In contrast, independence is often defined as the ability to live without relying on others for validation, support, or emotional sustenance. It's about standing firm in your own beliefs, making decisions based on your values, and navigating life with a sense of autonomy and self-determination. Independence is about being strong enough to hold your own in the face of challenges and having the courage to pursue your goals, regardless of external influence or societal expectations. But while independence emphasizes self-reliance, it does not mean detachment or isolation. True independence is about empowerment, knowing your worth, and acting from a place of internal strength while still being open to connection and mutual support. The power of vulnerability and independence comes from their interdependence, their ability to coexist and complement each other in ways that enhance personal growth and emotional well-being. Many people believe that vulnerability and independence cannot coexist, assuming that being independent means never needing anyone or anything. However, this perspective often leads to emotional isolation and a lack of meaningful connections. On the other hand, vulnerability without independence can create a sense of dependency, where one's self-worth becomes overly reliant on others' approval or validation. In a healthy balance, vulnerability and independence work together to create a more resilient and fulfilling life. When vulnerability is paired with independence, it allows you to own your emotional experience without being at the mercy of others' judgments. Vulnerability in this case becomes an act of empowerment. You choose to be open, to share your feelings, and to express your true self, not because you need others to validate you, but because you understand the inherent power in being authentic. When you are vulnerable, you acknowledge your weaknesses, but you don't let them define you. Instead, you use your vulnerability as a tool for growth. It takes courage to be vulnerable, but that courage is rooted in a deep sense of personal strength and self-assurance. Independence, when combined with vulnerability, also enables you to set healthy boundaries. It's about knowing what you need in order to feel emotionally safe and protected, and having the strength to communicate those needs to others. Setting boundaries requires vulnerability because you have to be honest about your feelings and desires, but it also requires independence because you must be willing to stand firm in your decisions, even when others may not understand or agree. Healthy boundaries allow you to preserve your emotional energy and protect your well-being while still engaging in authentic relationships. This balance enables you to maintain your emotional autonomy while still offering vulnerability in a way that fosters connection and trust. Another key aspect of the relationship between vulnerability and independence is self-reliance. True independence is not about isolating yourself from others. It's about having the ability to take care of your emotional and physical needs without relying on others for validation or support. Vulnerability allows you to acknowledge your needs and desires, while independence empowers you to take responsibility for fulfilling them. When you are both vulnerable and independent, you understand that your happiness does not depend on others' actions or approval. Instead, you recognize that your emotional well-being comes from within. You can ask for help when necessary, but you do not require others to define your sense of worth. This balance of vulnerability and independence also fosters self-compassion. When you are vulnerable, you are not hiding behind a mask or pretending to be something you're not. You are allowing yourself the grace to be imperfect, to experience pain and uncertainty, and to move through life's challenges with honesty and self-love. Independence, on the other hand, teaches you to embrace your own strength and resilience. It reminds you that you have the inner resources to navigate difficulty, to recover from setbacks, and to find your way through life's complexities. Together, vulnerability and independence create a nurturing environment in which you can develop a healthy relationship with yourself, free from the judgment or pressure of external expectations. Furthermore, vulnerability and independence allow for empowered relationships. When you are both vulnerable and independent, you can enter into relationships from a place of strength and authenticity. You are able to show up as your true self without the fear of being judged or rejected, while also maintaining the freedom to make choices that align with your values. These relationships are not based on neediness or dependency, but on mutual respect, trust, and emotional maturity. You don't rely on others to fill the gaps in your self-esteem, but instead you seek out relationships that add value to your life, where both parties can grow and thrive together. In this way, vulnerability and independence create a sense of emotional sovereignty. You are able to be your own person while still nurturing the connections that truly matter. Moreover, the combination of vulnerability and independence allows for resilience in adversity. Life inevitably brings challenges, difficult times that require both emotional strength and an openness to vulnerability. When you are independent, you can weather these storms with a sense of self-reliance, knowing that you have the capacity to face hardship. Vulnerability, on the other hand, allows you to acknowledge your fears, pain, and setbacks, and to reach out for support when necessary. It is the balance between these two that helps you not only survive adversity, but emerge stronger, more connected, and more in tune with your true self. Ultimately, the power of vulnerability and independence lies in their ability to create a life that is authentic, empowered, and emotionally fulfilling. Vulnerability allows you to embrace your imperfections and engage deeply with the world around you, while independence gives you the strength to navigate life on your terms. Together, they form a dynamic combination that promotes emotional well-being, meaningful relationships, and personal growth. In conclusion, the power of vulnerability and independence lies in their ability to work synergistically, creating a balanced and resilient foundation for personal growth, meaningful relationships, and emotional well-being. Vulnerability allows us to embrace our true selves, fostering authentic connections and deepening our emotional understanding. It is through vulnerability that we gain the courage to face our fears and weaknesses with openness and grace. Meanwhile, independence offers us the strength to stand firm in our beliefs, make decisions that align with our values, and navigate life with autonomy and confidence. When these two forces are combined, they create a dynamic that not only empowers us to live authentically, but also nurtures our ability to cultivate healthy, empowering relationships. In embracing both vulnerability and independence, we tap into the true essence of who we are: resilient, self-assured, and deeply connected to the world around us. Together, they create a life that is not just survived, but truly lived with purpose, strength, and compassion.